Hey everybody, and welcome back to The Oval. This week we thought it would be important to discuss, especially as women in media, the new documentary series called The Dark Side of Kids TV, or Quiet on Set. The series follows the abuse and misconduct of Nickelodeon in the 1990s. Have you guys had a chance to check it out or heard anything about it?
Oh yes, I've seen all 4 episodes. Actually, I do have to rewatch them, to be honest. I do have to rewatch the last episode because I did fall asleep through it, but I was really tired.
I hate when that happens. I haven't seen it, but I have heard about it, obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a long time coming for this.
It's just like each episode I had less and less to say because like that's your whole childhood right there.
Yeah.
And it's just like you never knew any of that.
And they say that too in the opening scene, like once you watch it you'll see. They said if you were a 90s kid or you grew up watching Nickelodeon, this is about to ruin that magic for you.
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, oh, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but you have to, especially
because
we're working in film, we know what it's like.
You got to educate yourself.
Yeah, especially with the Me Too movement, and that was prior to the Me Too movement, and they lasted doing these horrible things to these children up until about like 2018, until Dan Schneider was eventually let go. And he's still trying to make a comeback, which is a whole nother section of it.
I don't know if you guys saw the TikTok that I sent. It literally, to me, it was just bull, to be honest. Like, I feel like he was just saying the same thing of like,
only because he got caught.
I'm so embarrassed of myself. Like, I would never do that now. Like,
it's a YouTuber apology video.
Yeah, like, you shouldn't do that. You should have never done that. And like, that was disgusting that you did that, and you should be embarrassed. But it was almost like it was just the same response over and over. And it's like, if you really were sorry, you'd be saying a lot more right now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's media trained. And he also made a comment, too, said something basically like, well, if I go down, and they bring me down, legally, of course, then all of Nickelodeon is coming down with me. Which is clearly a problem. Like, we all already knew that, because if you watch the documentary, or, you know, you could even Google it, there were something, I think there was 3 different child predators that were arrested for Nickelodeon for these children. One of them was a production assistant who was in charge on all that, in charge of ushering these kids to where they need to be, and that's the man they trusted.
That's sick.
It is sick. It's terrible. And the fact that I grew up, and I'm sure you two grew up watching these shows and being so indulged and fascinated by Nickelodeon, that's like the last thing you would ever expect. Like, that's what, as a kid, I was like, this is my dream. I would love to be on a show like that.
Me too.
And
I was
those
just going to say that.
The same thing.
Yeah.
And they faced horrible abuse. And not even only that, I referred, when we first started this episode, I referred to the fact that there was a lot of misconduct, you know, aside from the abuse, but just even the fact that they had all these children working on set, and they're supposed to be having 3 hours of schooling, and the actress Amanda Bynes was never, you know, with the children during schooling. Where was she? She was with the creator, Dan Schneider. Or, you know, some of these kids weren't getting equal treatment compared to other kids, which is clearly another problem. And they would have them working such long hours, and they would keep pushing them and pushing them.
And they don't know any better. They're kids. This is some of them, that was their first job, so it's like, what do they know?
And it's illegal too. You can't have kids on set for more than a certain amount of time. But if they're trying to push these shows, you know, to make the most money they can, they're gonna completely milk it, and they're gonna make them work as long as they can.
Oh, and the parents are just as much to blame for that, I'm sure. In some cases, at least, because you're...
Some of them, sure. Some of them, not so much.
I was going to say, like, some of them... I need to watch it really bad. But, like, them being that money hungry, I'm sure they don't care about their child getting a proper education.
Oh, yeah, no. But that is a good point, though, because there was a separation of 2 different kinds of parents that you see on the show, or the documentary at least. And it would be one kind of like Jeanette McCurdy's mom, who was trying to live through her daughter and literally forcing her to do these
milk
things.
all the money she could out of her.
Their entire income came from Jeanette McCurdy. And then you have someone like Drake Bell's father, who was with him and knew something was going on.
With him.
Me too.
I was crying
horrible.
with him.
Basically with Drake Bell, which is a whole nother terrible story, because, you know, in the media we see how he's kind of gone off the deep end, and this documentary kind of shows you why and why he's the way he is. But he ended up being abused by the dialogue coach of Drake and Josh. And he had also worked on many other films with other, you know, young child stars. He worked with Leonardo DiCaprio, and there's some speculation that he would have been...
They had some clips showing, too, that was like...
Leonardo DiCaprio was touching him, and completely inappropriate stuff, especially working with children on set. You're not even supposed to do that with another adult, let alone a little boy, you know? But Drake Bell ended up going down a dark path, but it's good that he went on that documentary because you understand why. You understand that every action that he...
You could see, like, how hard that was for him, because that was, I'm pretty sure, the first time it was out in the public like that, really. And I just remember seeing Drake and Josh and being like, wow, this whole time, this was, like, these are my idols, like, they're having the blast time of their life, and little did we know that he was going through that.
Yeah, and like on a way more extreme note, I feel like that pertains a little bit, not to change the subject, but like that pertains a little bit to like serial killers too. Like these people are like go through
There's something in there about serial killers
like
too.
They go through all this trauma and then you wonder why they did what they did. Not justifying it or saying that it's okay, but there is a small bit of sympathy from there. You find out their backstory and that they were abused their whole childhood. Like, I mean, luckily I've never experienced that, and I know people do and they don't go to those extremes, so really there is no excuse. But
it's a result of trauma, which is messed up. It's not an excuse, of course, but it's absolutely a reason as to why people do these things. And it's interesting that you brought up a serial killer, because Brian Peck, that same dialogue coach who ended up going to prison, but he had like so many people supporting him, which is another dark side of the entertainment industry, all the support that these men get.
Do you even know? Like, I feel like they didn't. Like, they just couldn't have known. Like, how?
They do, though. They did know. It's just the fact where he was so good at manipulation that they fell into his trap. But that same man, Brian Peck, he had all the little castmates of all that come to his house for like a rap party or something, and he had all these strange decorations, and one of the cast members...
Oh, I saw a clip of this.
He noticed the
John Wayne
Gacy's painting, and he was like, that's weird. It was a real signed painting from John Wayne Gacy, and then it turned out that...
He was pen pals with him. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but absolutely, that's why I thought it was interesting that you brought that up, because it directly correlates
That's funny, I forgot about that. But I saw that clip, and I think I was with our friend Jill when I was watching it, and he showed the painting or whatever, and I saw it was a clown, and I go, John Wayne
Immediately,
Gacy.
Me too.
And she was like, I didn't even think of that, and I'm like, no, like...
Immediately. And I saw the clown, like, the way they show it in the documentary, it's like blurry.
The way that they were saying he was like proud of it.
Yeah, he called everybody
was so excited to show everyone.
Like, it was like this big trophy. I'm sorry,
and everyone was like,
you're obviously messed up.
And then you have people defending him, like, the proof is in the pudding, it's right in front of your face. He literally has a serial killer who abused young boys. He has him as a pen pal. It's ridiculous.
It's obviously that he's idolizing him.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's so important that we talk about this, because from our perspective, when we're kids, we idolize these people, and we, I wouldn't say idolize Dan Schneider, but of course I was whoever created this show is a genius.
Right.
And you think that it's this picture perfect world, but these kids are being abused. They're no protection.
In that TikTok, he kept just like, I'm so sorry to like anybody that I ever made feel this way. Like that, you're gonna need a lot more than just an I'm public sorry.
Disappear off the face of the earth. Yeah. Honestly, and the things that they would dress these kids up in, all of the bits, all adult humor, making these little children do. It's honestly disturbing. It really is.
Some stuff, and I don't know if you guys have seen, but when I was rewatching Victorious when they put it on Netflix, I don't know, a year or two ago. At the end, it's like, it shows like his, what is it, like the Schneider's Bakery with the oven, and it says his name on it and everything, and then there's like a sound bite from the acters.
Yeah, and they're all inappropriate.
Very, very weird and inappropriate.
Every single time.
And I remember from a long time ago seeing clips of like Ariana Grande and Liz Gillies, like just like messing around on set, being teenagers, and all of a sudden, I think it's Dan Schneider comes out of nowhere with a video camera and is like,
you make vlogs.
Hey, and they're like laying on the floor.
And they're all tense after that.
And they're like, oh, and
it's right in front of
Liz like kind of is like, okay, like get up now, get up, like he's coming. Like you hear her say that. Which is so scary to me.
Because not only was he creepy and did a lot of weird things, you know, for the production-wise, to present on TV, but he was also a very abusive creator. Like, he would call these kids names, he would scream at them, and he had favorites
and not for nothing. He was also awful to the people that he worked with.
All of them. The women, he would have them giving them massages, which is like the #1 start for anything that happened in the Me Too movement, is when you have a creator on set calling women in, making them not do their job, but instead come massage me. Come massage me, or if you don't, I'm never going to give you a job again, or I'll make sure you won't work in this industry. He treated the women writers awful too. It's just, there's so much, it's like we could go on and on and on forever. But so, with that being said, I think it's also important for us to discuss other examples of how, audiences idolize these celebrities and make a picture perfect world behind these people, when in reality that's not really what it seems. But that's been reminding me, I guess on a lighter note, because it's more of like a pop culture thing right now, but you know, the whole thing with Kate Middleton and
yes, she there was a picture posted for Mother's Day when they had Mother's Day in the UK, and she just got totally hated on it for Photoshop, AI, all that stuff, and it's like it's a picture. Maybe okay, there's so many people out there that Photoshop to make themselves feel better, and like I hate that people have to do that to make themselves feel better, and they can't just realize how beautiful they are inside and out. But it's like
it happens.
They were coming at her because there was other ways that she could have done it, like posted an old picture from Mother's Day, or just said, hey, Kate won't be posting for a little bit. And I guess it was just because she was MIA for a while because she had had abdominal surgery. But it's like how you just hold these famous people just to such a high pedestal.
They're human beings.
For what?
Human beings.
Like, so, I'm sorry, but so what, she photoshopped a little bit. Like, everybody does
it. The Kardashians get that every day.
Yep. Yes. And especially in that case, too, it's like, since the royal family is constantly, like, in the, you know, the eye and everything since Princess Diana, anytime something is not going according to that plan, you know, that
really
path,
watching.
People are like, oh, she's missing, something happened. Like, then it starts this whole uproar, and she's probably like,
they were coming up with theories of like Prince William cheating, or it was something like I think the article was saying like it was a succession plan for King Charles' like cancer diagnosis or something. Like
just this whole
you just take like 3 and you just go like so many different directions with it when you don't even know the real story.
You don't know these people at all. You don't know them at all.
Yes.
And that's what's really shocking. It's like, I mean, trust me, I'm one too to like hyperfixate on celebrities and stuff, but I still know, like, at the end of the day, you might know their music, you might know their shows, you might know what they're involved in, but that's a human being. You don't know what's going on with their family, and you can't expect certain things from them. They're a human being. They make mistakes. You can't. It's just. It's weird. It's really weird.
What I also think is so funny is like us as Americans like caring at all about the royal family.
Yeah.
Like, I just think it's funny. Like not saying that I don't understand why people do, but it is funny because like, you know, we got our like independence from them.
We were talking about that too because her dad is Canadian and my dad's from Ireland. So we were talking about both of our. My dad's like, I don't want to see that. Turn that off. I don't care about the royal family. Like
my mom will be watching the news and they're like on news like, get these people off the screen. I don't want to see them. Like,
it's true. It's like, why do we care about it? You know, like.
But then why do we care about family?
But exactly, why do we care about it? That's a whole nother discussion. We could sit here for hours. But it always goes back to the idolization of these people and not realizing that there's a separation when there's a screen in front of you. You know.
Yes.
Big one.
But yeah, I thought this was a great discussion today.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll be back next week with some good content. Thank you for watching The Oval.